Finck here, the Maverick Millionaire, and this is the Mavericks Do It Different podcast, where we create a difference by thinking different, being different, doing it different every single day to create a difference in our future. This is where it's at. I've got somebody here who is going to change how you look at your business and what you're doing within it. This is the key. We're talking about full throttle Falato leads coming at you. Michael Falato is here. He is the amazing guy producing qualified leads, recruiting just top talents and bringing it all to the table. He has access to over, hear this, 950 million contacts, can develop your drip campaigns, your emails, your LinkedIn automation. He is the man who can make it all happen for you and bring the leads right to your doorstep. I'm going to let him tell the rest of the story, but let's get into it. Michael, welcome to the podcast. How are you, buddy?
Good. How you doing, Paul?
Doing great. So tell us a little bit more, fill in the gaps. Like, what do you do?
So there's companies that mostly will hire a sales development rep. Those are usually kids right out of college. Salesforce.com made this a really big push. Like, why are sellers hunting all day? We need them selling. So what I did is I said, listen, if we're hiring kids and they're learning and they're going to burn out and they're going to want to be AEs or quit. So why not automate all this and do a rinse and repeat approach, repeatable and scalable approach, just like what SaaS is. So I took that and made it a process. So I'm able to send out like 20 to 30,000 emails a month, and over 150 to 200 emails, invites, or group messages on LinkedIn, which produces 20 to 30 SQLs or MQLs, marketing qualified leads or sales qualified leads. So if you do that, you're focusing on prescribing what's wrong, fixing it, and selling versus clicking on buttons and doing what a virtual assistant can do, somewhere in another country, which is very slow and sometimes there's a language barrier. So I've been selling for 25 years. I know how to do this right. I know how to make sure your domain doesn't get broken, which a lot of people do, and your LinkedIn profile doesn't get shut down.
So some of the people that talk about that, and I'm not a fear monger, but however, they've got to understand some of the components that you just talked about. Why would those things break or get shut down? What happens?
Well, your own Gmail or Office 365 is against the terms of service to send out more than about 500 emails a day. You do send out 500 emails a day and they bounce or get unsubscribed, you'll start seeing all your emails go to spam. It happened to me at my last company I was at. I was using HubSpot and I was using Gmail, and I made 15 different email addresses, and Falato 1, and Falato 2 and Falato 3 . I'm like, hey, I'm sending out 4,000 emails a week. Guess what? All of our emails to our clients and our contractors were going to spam. So we found, I have an email engineer. We set up a subdomain, an alternative domain. We used a thing called SendGrid to send out the emails. And guess what? Now we don't have all that reputation, blacklisting, errors that happen, and we're not damaging the capabilities and deliverability for them to do their own job, which is a daily thing. So if you don't know what you're doing, which most people don't, because I was one of them, don't do it. I already made the mistakes for you.
Oh my gosh. I don't know how many of my mistakes I should start talking about now, only they're all coming rushing to the front of my brain. I've been in business for 36 years, as you know, we talked about that. Oh my gosh, over the time, and as I got into the technology world, man, I had my whole account shut down. I was in, Constant Contact, and got shut down. They're horrible. Yeah. There were so many of those services that would shortchange me one way or the other, because I was looking and I was building up and looking to send out a whole lot of emails, and with challenges every step of the way. And you've got the system that streamlines that so that my business keeps working every day.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at it, they'll shut down your email address and then you can't do anything.
Right.
Gmail, Office 365, Constant Contact will look at this, and because you use their IP address to send the emails, they don't want you to send out spam.
Right.
But if I can actually get a different IP address, make sure that your deliverability and your bounce rate's low, and make sure that the messaging is, who cares, so what are you going to do for me, and who have you helped type emails versus I do this, I do that, I. So that's on the email side. It's just very protective. I have an email engineer that works for me who has a background working at Coca-Cola and doing email technology for them. So he knows how to talk about DKIM, DMARC, SPF, MX, all those records, DNS records for that subdomain. There's a whole plethora of ways to do this, right and wrong.
It's amazing. And I will tell you, no matter how long you've been in business, I guarantee you, unless you have someone with Michael's expertise and capabilities by your side, you will get hooked and fall down a rabbit hole, if you will, of challenges without ever knowing. And that's been my experience over the years. Until I met with and connected up with you and others just like you in that capacity of knowing, having the history, having the knowledge base, you're walking into a firing range that you were not prepared for.
Yeah, then there's the whole LinkedIn side, right? I mean, so you got the email going, you're doing drip marketing, you got to understand how to do A/B testing, turn things on, use Moneyball approach analytics. Don't tell me what works and what doesn't. I give you my best judgment, but let the stats tell you what's going on. So and then segmenting. But on the LinkedIn side, people will sit there and go, okay, I'm going to send out 100 invites a week, and I'm going to try to use this for sale, and I'm going to buy emails. And what I do is I can send out 150 to 200 to 300 emails, invites, or group messaging a day by knowing how to warm it up and also mimicking human behavior using bots. So there's a really good way to actually use LinkedIn for lead generation. But again, the messaging needs to be, hey, let's grab a virtual cup of coffee over Zoom. Let's just chat to see if there's a fit. Not, here's what I do. It's like dating. Warm them up, get on a call, then get on a video call, and then ask them out. Just like you would like if you were single. So that's the same way you got to look at the LinkedIn approach. Email's a little more like, hey, want to introduce myself, let's try to grab a time. Always give them a calendar option as well, so you can make it easier, not back and forth. But ask them, hey, here's my calendar, if that makes it easy, or can you send me your calendar, or suggest a couple times. If you just send your calendar, I've had people go, why should I fill out your calendar? You're selling me. So they've gotten a little pissy about it. I'm like, really? Okay. All right. Mother told me to ask a certain way. I'll change my wording,
So fascinating. You've got a strong background in communication, sales, going back decades now.
Yeah.
And you're obviously, and it's so powerful, bringing all that information to serve your clientele. Talk a little bit about the sales process and how do you build this funnel and attract these people for your clientele? How does that expertise lead into what all you do?
Well, there's an onboarding document that I send to them so they can understand what I'm looking for. We want to make sure we don't hit people that they already talked to. So we want to import a do not contact. We want to look at all their content they've been using and get rid of any pictures or HTML, because that will get hung up in spam filters, and really understand what type of content's going to gravitate. So we're not selling, we're trying to get a meeting. We're not telling them why they should use your product. We're trying them to get on a call. So just like challenger sales, hey, be prescriptive. Point out there's a $2 million problem you have that's going to be solved by a $50,000 a year solution. So be the teacher, not the seller. And that's really what you try to do. But you can't do that if you don't understand their business. If you don't understand their business, it's because you haven't talked to them. So in that calendar invite or HubSpot, if you use that, ask a couple questions like, so I can prepare for this meeting. Would you like to share a couple of things you want to chat about? What brought you to the table is the first thing I asked on these discovery calls. Like, why'd you take the call with me? I'm just curious. What grabbed your attention? And let them chat. Let them talk, because people love to talk. Yes. But if you're talking, they're gonna zone out.
You've brushed through so many things that for you is just happenstance, and it's you wrote information that is easy peasy, and for others these are some gems. I want everyone to pay attention. There's some key components that Michael's already said, like send your calendar link or let them send yours, because you don't want that power play. Understanding that process of engaging with them in communication, not selling to them and talking I all the time. Talk about that engagement. So many things, and you said some great stuff. What is it that why would people want and grab hold of you? Where are they at in their business, and why would they say, you know what, I need Full Throttle, Falato leads by my doorstep in my business?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is that they have SDRs. They want to add another one. They're thinking about, should I hire another one or hire outsource approach like me? So I'm basically a fractional demand gen guy. I also have a Zoom Info type platform, which is not Zoom Info. That's a tenth of the cost of with Zoom. So if you pay 50 cents to $1 per name on Zoom, my service includes email, LinkedIn, roundtables, and all these things that produce 4 to 5 things versus you paying for Zoom probably 30 to 40,000 a year. So that's one thing. And then it integrates with HubSpot, Salesforce. They don't know how to set that up. I actually give a free HubSpot service if they want for me to integrate into them. And then there's these companies that it's 5 to 50 people, and they have maybe a CRO or VP of sales or a couple salespeople, but they're spending way too much time hunting, sending emails, and sending. It's very clerical and tactical. Should be strategic. Take your ABM approach and do 30 accounts, 40 accounts that you really want to win, then have someone like myself do tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, because you're never going to get to those, and you're leaving money on the table. So it's still a numbers game no matter what with sales. So you got to be prescriptive, but you got to have a machine gun with a sniper scope on it.
Hear, hear. So if someone's getting started, and we talk to and communicate, and I know our audience is a full range of people that are already players and in the game, and you're going to be an add-on to what they do, and some people that are moving to that space, if you will. What should they be doing to step up their game to get ready to be your perfect client, if you will? What should they be doing in the mix, which I think would be really helpful for them?
Yeah. They should be definitely making their LinkedIn profile very about what they do. Most people say, I work for Maverick Consulting. That's it. And it has that. What does Maverick Consulting do?
Right.
It's a front-facing resume. So make your LinkedIn with a image behind your face, with a headline like mine. Mine says, 25 years sales, black belt jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, whatever. It talks about who I am as a person. And then you want to make sure that you join tons of groups, because if you're on a lot of groups on LinkedIn, you can basically send free messages to. So that's one thing on the LinkedIn side. On the email side, if you're not using an automation tool, you should still probably have a separate domain. Go to GoDaddy, go get a .us for $8 a year, like Full Throttle Falato leads.us versus Full Throttle Falato leads.com, and use that, because you won't know how to set up a subdomain like a m.domain.com. So at least set up a separate domain and forward those emails to your real email inbox, just to make sure you don't break. Because most people get HubSpot and start doing sequencing, or get Milkshake or Yesware or something, whatever the other stuff that you can do. But it's still you're still going to break that domain if you don't have a filter, a cleaner, subdomain, a separate DMARC, DKIM approach, which is what SendGrid does. And you gotta have an engineer. I can't even do it myself technically, because it's very difficult.
Yeah. There's so many people that get into these things without realizing all the backside of what happens. And
I was one of those guys.
In this day and age, you need a full-time IT team, or you need really good outsource consulting team members like yourself in being part of your company. You cannot go it alone.
It's like being a doctor. Like it's like, okay, you got something in your brain. Would you want him going into your brain, or do you want a neurosurgeon looking at your brain in MRI? They
Right.
know what specialists are. That's the same exact reason why someone's going to hire you. You're going to help them solve this problem because you understand it. And that's all you do.
Yes.
I say, listen, I'm not a caller. I'm an automation guy. I'm not going to be everything that you want me to be. I'm not going to help you do middle and end of sales. I can't repeat myself, but I'm a rinse and repeat guy for automation. So I will help you as much as I can consulting wise, but I can't triple my time in life.
Right.
So I stay in my lane.
So you create the automation. So someone comes in, you create the automation, and what do they receive? What's the end result of what you offer?
It's usually 10 to 20 meetings a month, qualified leads. Again, I'm amplifying your brand. So if it's good and it has something unique, and because we do the filtering, the messaging all together. I don't say, hey, let me do this and we'll go, let's go. No,
Right.
no. I'm not the subject matter expert in what Paul does or Steve does or Tom does. You're going to have to give me some sense of what you think is right. And then I can give you my expert consultation. And the stats on LinkedIn and email are going to tell you what's up. So that's on the LinkedIn and email side. We haven't talked about roundtables yet, which is we're doing kind of a one-to-one. But roundtables are something that I also use to kind of go, listen, let's get a bunch of people together and talk about best practices. And guess what? It's brought to you by Paul, brought to you by Michael Falato and Full Throttle. And we say, like, what's your give, what's your get, what's your superpower? And if we have 30 people show up, we break out in rooms of 5. And guess what? The other thing is I'm helping people get business, but I'm also being that think tank, connector, and why should I count on all these different people doing events when I know how to drive people to an event? Right. Most of my events are using LinkedIn as the way to register, because I can click on one button, get all that data, and then I use Zoom because I can do breakout rooms.
Yeah. So powerful and smart. We're going to be doing a roundtable together sometime shortly, and so look for that. And
stay tuned.
And we're going to be creating some of that magic together to help everyone with our combined backgrounds. We've got a wealth of knowledge to bring to the table. That's for sure. Only
50 years plus between the both of us.
Yeah, exactly. What you do, Michael, is so powerful, and it's so interesting that bringing those leads and those qualified leads to the doorstep is the key. And some of what they need to do is they need to know their messaging. They need to know who they are and where they're bringing people to know what to communicate to you to bring those qualified leads, because you can't qualify them if you don't know what qualified means. So much of that pre-work, but once you get your messaging, you need a machine. You need something that is going to duplicate, triple, quadruple, 10x your time. And that's what Michael brings to the table, is that automation that magnifies everything that you do. And that's really key.
You hit it. Yep.
Yeah.
Full throttle.
I get it.
Full throttle is the key word. I mean, that's my personality. I got that nickname from a Marine. I'm an Air Force veteran. I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu. So is this guy. He's an Orlando PD. He's like, dude, you're full throttle all the time. I'm like, full throttle, full out. That's my company name. So
I love that. So jiu-jitsu, I heard. What else?
Like kickboxing, Muay Thai. It's called Muay Thai.
Right.
Yep. And so that's what I do. Those two things mostly. And I played a hardball, baseball for about 30 years, and then was a wrestler in high school. So that's kind of like I think if you're like sports minded, it teaches you teamwork, but also get it done. Don't make excuses. Let's go. And that's kind of what I've done. I just also signed a famous chef to help them with his guest appearances in all these different restaurants. Fabio Bavani. I don't know if he's on Top Chef. So I mean, things are going crazy where I'm like getting past 6 figures a month for a very small business, and not a lot of overhead and not a lot of headcount.
Really key guys, is And one of the things that Michael and I connect on at a deep level is that you can build multi-million-dollar businesses with what some people might consider a skeleton crew when you know what you're doing and you're streamlining your businesses. And that's what I've done for the last 36 years, absolutely at a high level in the last 20. And it's what you are also and have been doing also, Michael. And it's so great. And it's such a great example for so many people out there who they either think, oh, I'm a solopreneur, or I am this, oh, I've got a high rise and I've got 200 employees and I don't want all that, so I'm just going to stay here.
Yeah, they're stuck in their own way. They're the old school. It's like, I got to roll. Like, no, listen, why work for someone else? I'll never go back and work for another software company again. I'm going to make 120 to 200 a year, and I'm bringing in 1.2 million. No, and then I'm going to get, hey, how did you do this last quarter every single time? If you have a semi decent business and go, I'm not going to sit there and try to get clients all day. I'm going to work on my clients. And that's when you have to do some sort of top of funnel approach, whether it's with me or someone else. But there's a lot of lead gen companies out there, and usually you're hiring someone that's in the US that's selling you, and then they outsource it to Manila or Taiwan or whatever, another country, which is not a bad thing all the time. But I wouldn't want phone calls coming from another country into US companies. I think US folks want to deal with a lot of US people. And also, that's your time to build that rapport while you're doing that. So why get on the phone and do completely cold calls when you can kind of get, hey, I saw you open my email. Not that you're saying that, but go in with a little bit of a warmer approach.
Yeah, no question. And there are a lot of people out there. I have gone through the test of time, if you will, and that was a hard road in looking for people like you who actually have the background, have the experience in multiple different fields to culminate to what you're doing, rather than, oh, I learned how to build a funnel, so this is my new company, I'm going to bring you leads, and they know nothing of the sales process. They don't understand communication. They don't understand messaging, and which is all your background that you fine-tuned and honed for 20, 30, 40 years, and then created this. And that's a whole different game.
Yeah, go hire a demand gen person. It's going to be 180, 250 a year, and I'm $5K a month. Which is what you pay a kid with no tools, no experience, doesn't want to do this more than 6 months, is going to quit or go somewhere else and be an AE somewhere after he's an SDR or BDR. Not a good fit. And then, or you hire a virtual assistant in another country for $10 an hour, and you get what you pay for.
You do indeed. I've done it all. I can tell you the horror stories. So absolutely pay attention to this, reach out. Michael, so a couple things here. One is, how do we get in touch with you? How should someone reach out to you? Give us the best way.
Yep. It's full throttle Falato leads.com. That's the best way to look at it. You can email me at michael@fullthrottleFalatoLeads.com as well. And there on the site, there's also my calendar where you can book a time.
Oh, that's wonderful.
You can always email me. I could send you the deck. I integrated my platform into HubSpot as well, so I keep track of everything. Definitely have a CRM, so you can manage your business. Know your KPIs. You're gonna be going around in circles.
Yep. Full throttle FalatoLeads.com. You absolutely have to reach out, get a consult with Michael. It's well worth your time and effort. And we've got people all around the world listening to this podcast. Last words.
Just do what you say what you do. That's you gotta, like, when someone emails or calls you, don't wait a day, don't wait 2 days, get back to people. There's too much of that going around with people that, oh, I've already been busy. Just be a good citizen, corporate and personal.
Yeah, I often say the speed with which you want to be communicated with, communicate in that way. Now, there
Yep.
are some people I want to slow down communication because I really don't want to talk to them. So then I just delay texting them at all. I will tell you there's a tactic in that. However, you want to really connect with people, you've got to respond. You've got
Especially
to.
if you want them as clients. There's a difference between if you want them as clients versus someone that's trying to sell you something and they're annoying. Because
Right.
they're trying to sell you something that you don't need. And that's where you want to, that's why I like them to book me, because I sent them something. I say, listen, have your power statement. Let's talk about how I'm going to get you your top 30 clients in my first 90 days. That's a great power statement that says, how am I going to help you, not how I'm going to help me.
Yep. Yeah.
Cool.
Huge. Tons of great gems, tons of great nuggets. And I don't say that lightly. These are really the core of how to build a business, how to be engaged. And reach out to Michael, get a consult. He absolutely has a wealth of knowledge to share with you, will help you out, bring you to the point of, yes, you need it, or no, you don't. Here's where it is. And he'll give you the straight scoop. So
look for our roundtables. Paul and I are going to be doing roundtables together.
Yes. Yeah. And that'll be us engaging at even a next level conversation with everything that we've been talking about.
One, two small groups, and just getting into your business and just trying to help everybody help each other. That's what the whole world's about.
Yeah. So key.
Right.
Michael, absolute pleasure for having you here. It's been great. Thank you so much for spending your time and energy here. This is all about building our life and our business, and you've brought some great tools and advice here. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Paul. Have a great day, buddy.
As everyone knows, this is the Maverick Do It Different podcast. We are on a journey together. We bring you resources and tools and great people, all to develop the Maverick universe. And the core is creating a great life for you, for me, and our whole society. Continue to tap in, be a part of the Maverick universe, continue to listen to Mavericks Do It Different podcast, listen to this week's, next week's, and all beyond in all the episodes. Share, find us Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, find us, reach out. We want to connect with you on a personal level. Reach out to me, reach out to us, and we'll definitely be responding and connecting at that level as well. Share, let's continue to expand and share this messaging all around the world. Thank you so much. So happy to be here. This is Paul Finck, the Maverick Millionaire. This is Mavericks Do It Different podcast. Till next time, everyone.
Thanks for being here today. As our gift to you, be sure to go to themaverickuniverse.com, where you can download your free copy of the Maverick Manifesto. Until next time, dare to be different. Dare to be a Maverick.